Welcome back, ladies and gents. It's the day after Christmas, commonly known as Boxing Day. Might be the first time that the guards and the horses and this part of London have been filmed and placed on YouTube. I mean, I'm sure there's Boxing Day footage, but not encompassing everything I just mentioned. This is Burlington Arcade, folks. We're on Piccadilly. So we've got a teeny bit of a walk. La durée. I mean, oh god damn, why did I notice that, folks? Who would like some Christmas macaron? Yeah, me too. Okay, so we will begin a little stroll, ladies and gents. It won't take us long. 10 minutes, give or take, something like that, I would have thought. I will obviously try my hardest between here and horseguards not to put myself in a wheelchair by getting run over. So I am going to keep an eye on the traffic. Voice is back to normal. Health is at 99.5%. So I cancelled that trip to the Swiss clinic. Guys, it wasn't needed after all, luckily. Still a teeny bit coffee, but nothing major. Whee! Oh my god, cars are coming. Okay, so this, lovely viewers, is the one and only Fortnum and Mason, grocers to Her Late Majesty, and indeed grocers to the King. It's open later. Actually, maybe it doesn't even open today, thinking about it. Boxing Day, possibly. I mean, it's rather grand. Look at this. They always make quite the effort. It looks far better after dark when they turn on the illumination. But I've got no idea actually if it's opening today. An awful lot of shops are open. Lots of people out and about, not just because of the fact that it's the day after Christmas Day, they want a bit of exercise, a bit of fresh air, walk off the turkey trimmings and stuffing, but also a very large number of shops are open today and many begin their sales. This, for example, guys, is London's most snazzy book sellers. Look, this is Hatchard's here on Piccadilly. Isn't that rather lovely? Look, Hatchard's. I was hoping we get a famous author coming in or out, but no, alas not. In fact, that was not Hilary Mantel, guys, even though it did look a little teeny bit like her. Okay, let's continue. The actual street that we're walking along is Piccadilly. Shortly behind me is the Ritz Hotel, another kind of somewhat jazzy, snazzy shopping arcade. These are the arcades of Piccadilly, Burlington Arcade we saw before and the others. Would I recommend going there to spend money? Not really, unless you like wasting money, because you can get better quality stuff in the normal shops. Those are pretty much gift shops for special occasions or for tourists that don't really know where better to spend their valuable cash when they visit London. Now, it's a funny thing. There was yesterday a full mounted guard change. Christmas tree? A full mounted guard change at horseguards. I was talking to a few of the lads and I really did think hard about, look, should I go and film it? But then I thought to myself, fundamentally two things. First of all, getting there and back would be a nightmare. It would mean a taxi, even if there were one, each way, no public transport on Christmas Day. Meaning either I got there super early or I'd miss it. But more importantly, I thought to myself, you know what? On Christmas Day of all days, the troopers should be entitled to what all the rest of us enjoyed yesterday. Peace and quiet. That's what I thought to myself. So I thought, you know what? I'm not going to go and put the camera in anyone's face because it's Christmas Day. Well, that and the fact that my kids would probably have been crying about having to wait to open the presents, but yeah, I did really think about it. I was even talking about it with a friend on Christmas Eve, but I thought at the end, nah, save it. And indeed, that was the right choice. I don't regret it. One of my favourite little architectural gems, folks, here. Beautiful, eh? Going through to Regent Street. Now, we're going to turn the corner in a moment, which means we're getting very close to, well, Haymarket is next up. After that, we will turn toward Trafalgar Square, but even before Haymarket, we've got Piccadilly Circus, folks. Yeah, that's the gaudy looking sign over there. We'll focus on that in a second. Wow, yummy. Okay, so Regent Street, St James, going to my right, which joins up to Regent Street on my left. There is Le Cercle du Piccadilly, as the Frenchies call it. Yes, Piccadilly Circus. Now, many councillors have decided to close off the statue, which I believe is of Eros. I seem to think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks. It's often boarded up, typically when there's a big sporting event, because everybody sort of runs here and celebrates, no matter which country might win or which sport. But I mean, it is quite a sight. Obviously, you folks watching from the US are kind of like, God, is that it? It's not very much, is it, compared to Times Square? And to be fair, it's not. But it's crazy iconic. Every night, this plaza area here is completely packed. Street performers and other artists, and lots and lots and lots of tourists. Yeah, many of the larger shops are open. Actually, got Lily White's sports shop open for business. They need those tourist coins. They need that cash ASAP. Figures haven't been published yet, but it probably wasn't the best Christmas for retailers, I would have thought. You know, inflation is still very high. A lot of other reasons why there's not a lot of spare coins in people's pockets. So that was Piccadilly Circus behind us. Going in front of us, where we to continue all the way up there, is Leicester Square. We're not continuing all the way up there because we don't need to. It's out of our way. Now, a few weeks ago, you remember we filmed the statue of the horses. That was quite fortunate to get that, because it's quite unusual for these gates to be open. Today, as you can see, they're firmly closed. So next stop, Trafalgar Square, horseguards, horses. Coming up shortly. This is Haymarket that we're walking along now. We've walked along here before, many of you will recognise it. This is Jermyn Street on my right. Probably still the most famous location after Savile Row for gents to buy their shirts and other fine items. Shops like New and Lingwood, Turnbull and Asser, Charles Tyrwhitt, etc, etc, etc. Fallow St James, we've also seen this in previous videos. It's quite a super restaurant actually for a Sunday roast. Their full Sunday roast is about £32-ish, which might sound like quite a lot, but in central London terms, it's a steal, folks. Bearing in mind that even at most of the members clubs with the member subsidised food, you're still paying roughly that. So the fact you can get it in a restaurant, the only difference of course being that in a restaurant, outside you will pay a likely 15, possibly as high as 20% service charge, which they say, you know, is optional or discretionary, but it's not really. Unless something goes pretty wrong in the restaurant, it's very rare to see or hear people saying, hey, take this charge off my bill. And to be honest guys, in a typical restaurant for 2 or 3 people out in zone 1, you're looking at between 150 and 250 pounds. Quite a bit more if you add on alcoholic drinks. So if you put your 20% service charge on the £250 bill, it's not £250 anymore, is it? It's not. Nope. £50 service charge, it's a £300 bill. It's a lot of cash. Hell of a lot of cash. So many people like to put put these expensive corporate lunches on their expense accounts. Because yeah, that little service charge is the killer. Now there were a lot of people on the streets around Harrods this morning with luggage. Now I don't know if that's because lots and lots arrived early on some of the first flights to land in Heathrow this morning, or with a lot of people who've gotten up pretty early to head out of London. But when I went to get my breakfast, I was mightily surprised. Far more than one would ordinarily expect. That said, bearing in mind that the vast majority of things in London ground completely to a halt yesterday, other than local corner shops and some of the Arab shops, almost everything was closed. Every supermarket, etc., 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 closed, even the small locals. Okay, so made it to Trafalgar Square, folks. Canadian High Commission. I've called it the consulate before, I've called it the embassy, I've called it pretty much everything. But I'm 99.9% certain, correctly speaking, it's the Canadian High Commission. Waits for somebody to correct me in the comments. Speaking about the comments, guys, I didn't have much time to look at yesterday's videos. You will note I didn't respond on them. That's pretty much because they were put on a timer to go from private to public yesterday. I think I looked at a couple of comments, so thank you to everybody that left nice comments or comments about, you know, Merry Christmas and everything else, guys. Much appreciated. And my goodness me, so many of you sent me DMs and emails as well. I was kind of shocked and overwhelmed all at the same time. It's kind of like, what do I do? You know, try and reply to all, try and reply to none. It's just like I kind of don't know what to do at this point, because we're at a tipping point, folks. You know, if I reply to every one of the between typical day 100, 200 messages every day, I have no time to get dressed or go outside. I don't recognise this one. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Gucci, God knows. No idea how to pronounce that, folks. But that looks new. It actually looks quite swish, I must say. I've always been surprised that there is not sort of much high-end dining around this specific part of central London, Trafalgar Square, because it's an absolute tourist trap. I'm just zooming across for 1 second because I spotted police horses over here on Trafalgar Square. I have absolutely no idea why they'd be here, but some of the officers have actually dismounted from their horses, which is even more curious. Let's have a quick look. 1 second, folks. Got a couple of vehicles. Now, luckily for Trafalgar Square, we're not hearing lots of pop music. This is a curious sight, isn't it? I'm not sure if a tourist has gotten cold or something's happened here. Obviously, this gent in the back of the vehicle, hopefully he hasn't been robbed. Hopefully he's alright. So, police horse number 1. Very curious sight, to be honest, guys. That's probably one of the most unusual sights that I've come across. Just sort of holding the camera there for a moment because it's just not a typical sight for any part of central London. Oh, okay, officer telling people to get back. The officer here, this mounted officer, is it's a fine looking horse, isn't it? Talking to the paramedic. Horse is like, I want to go for a walk. I don't want to stand here in the cold. Super curious. I have no idea if they're guarding this guy or looking after him or what's going on. He's got a lot of kit though. What a peculiar thing to stumble upon. Notice actually the fountains are not active. curious, actually. Very unusual to see it like this with the water static. Doesn't look that Christmassy, does it? I mean, yes, there is a big tree. It's very disappointing, though, I must say. The annual Christmas tree here in Trafalgar Square. It's not really up to scratch. Let's see if we can find out very quickly, actually. Right. So somebody has been arrested. Let me quickly ask her. Officer, can I ask the name of your horse, if that's okay? Oh, this is the beautiful Boudica. Wow. Looking very happy this morning out and about in Central. Okay, to touch, to pat?
Not at the moment.
No, she's a bit restless.
Yeah, we're just doing this weekend.
Ah, is it something bad or something good? Is he alright?
No, so I'm just bouncing, so...
In this weather, you're joking. Bloody hell. Okay, thank you. Okay, so this chap, crazy chap, was in the fountain. He actually went for a swim or a dip or a wash, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Boudica's kicking her front hooves, you probably heard it. So the officer was obviously being cautious. So he's under arrest, would you believe? He's actually under arrest. I mean, you've got to be completely and utterly crazy, you know, to go for a swim in the fountains in these kind of temperatures. Just when you think you've seen it all, folks. Hopefully he's alright. I mean, he looks pretty chill. They've wrapped him up like a pig in a blanket. In fact, nicely wrapped and getting warm. Boudica, we should recognise that beauty. We've seen her before, in fact, several times in our videos. Okay, so our little 10-minute sojourn turned into something a little longer. We're right in the central Trafalgar Square now, folks. And although you've seen it before, not all of you will have seen it before. It really is quite a sight to behold, all of it, when you stand in the middle. Look at this. It's National Gallery over there in the middle. Canadian High Commission, as mentioned before. Okay, let's go across. I'm not going to go the usual way because we'll get sort of stuck with a million line bikes and all of these tourist crossings. So we'll just sort of stroll parallel to the railings and hope that nobody gets too close in a vehicle. Admiralty Arch, sadly, is still an absolute mess, folks. It'll be opening next year. But goodness gracious, it will never look the same again now. It's going to be a fancy pantsy hotel. Oh. Interesting. Fast asleep. Fair play being able to sleep here with all the traffic and noise. That's extraordinary. When you think of places to pitch a tent in central London, I can think of at least 100 that are probably a little safer, certainly a little quieter. But I guess in this case, beggars can't be choosers, quite literally. Now, it's been quite some time actually since
I thought you were joking.
Since we approached horseguards from this direction. Weeks, actually, if not months, potentially, certainly a while. A lot of people are coming away from horseguards, which to me is interesting for two reasons. There's nothing this morning going on at the palace. Today is a Thursday. No guard change, no mounts, no wet mounts, no anythings. Now obviously there'll be a lot of tourists out and about generally, for the reasons I mentioned earlier. Primarily getting some exercise and some fresh air. But wow, I mean their numbers are pretty healthy, I must say. I'm going to try my best to be here a few more times, guys, between now and the new year, because yours truly will be out of the UK for New Year. That's right, I'll be leaving. Not for very long though, don't worry, just a few days. Plus I'll hopefully be able to post some pictures and things on my travels. Now, horseguards is looking quite buoyant, even busy possibly. as we get closer. One reason that I thought today would be a good day and also a practical day to come out and film, obviously it being the first day after Christmas, but more importantly, first day after Christmas but last day for the Blues and Royals. Now, I'm hoping that I'm not mistaken and it is indeed the last day, because I was told it was a Blues Christmas. We were surmising it was a Blues Christmas. And I'm going to show you something which happens in annual tradition, which might possibly have featured in videos before, but I've never filmed it before. I know it happens, and even happened last year, despite the fact that Horseguards was closed. What am I talking about? This. The bedding down, folks, of the horse. Look at this. You see the bale that's been attached just below the horse's mouth. They've bedded the horse down. They HCAV. Yep. It's an annual thing, folks. I'm trying to keep the camera still and get a good shot. There we go. One bedded down horse right in the middle of Whitehall. That's why I wanted to come this way. Now, I don't remember if I've ever actually got a picture of that before. I don't think that I have got a picture before of the horse having been bedded down. Now, I'm going to try and get directly in front to get the best possible picture, because this will be taken down, I'm guessing, pretty soon. Isn't that extraordinary? So some of the troopers got themselves up there, hung the bale and the tinsel around the neck of the horse, and also completely bedded down the horse with sawdust on the plinth of the statue. What a glorious British tradition, eh? I'm sure you'd all agree. I'm sure you'd all agree. Okay, so here we are. Having just arrived, ladies and gents. Now, one thing I am expecting today is a bit of a spam fest. I think it's kind of inevitable, really. But we'll see. We will see what we can find, because what I'm thinking, guys, is that wait, let's have a look at which troop is at the other end. Oh my good lord, it's really busy. Now, the lady trooper that we just walked past, looking up at the clock, we've only got 10 minutes, give or take. It's going to be really interesting to me personally to see which two horses come out next. Now, I'm obviously not expecting Mr. Mond, but one can never be absolutely certain. The yard is very, very, very busy. The front here is busy, but the yard is absolutely chocker. And police are at the front today, which I guess has got to be a good sign. People are wandering up and sort of looking at each other like, is it okay? Can I go up to the horse? How close can I get? Trooper glancing down, a teeny bit. Oh, there we go, straight away. Said to, didn't shout, just muttered it. Behind the line, please. Gent that he is. Plus, you know, who wants to upset a kid on Christmas? This is a Christmas Day, on Boxing Day. There would, yesterday, 100%, have been probably a few souled folks traipsing around here after a lunch in their swanky hotel that stopped for pictures with the guard, and that would have been funny. But I'm thinking that the gaps between people coming along and it being very, very quiet yesterday afternoon would have been considerable. As I mentioned, there is no public transport at all in London on Christmas Day. So the only way to get around, cycle, walk, or take a black cab, which is easier said than done. Not many cabbies choose to work Christmas Day. Yes, the meter charges a lot, but it's not busy enough for them to worry about being out all day on Christmas Day. They don't make enough. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Don't worry about me, it's okay. It's always all sort of stepping aside because they're worried about getting my video. Oops. I mean, I guess that's kind of good and bad news. One, they're paying attention. But two, they're not bothered to go up to the horse. It's a very, very, very busy looking yard, I must say. People out in full effect. Bear in mind, guys, today public transport is running like a bank holiday, in other words, fairly infrequently.
Would you like to have a look inside?
Which makes it all the more surprising that it would appear that every single tourist who decided on a trip to London has ended up at horseguards this morning. Extraordinary, isn't it, really? The Blues will have one more King's Lifeguard before they finish for this year. I can't remember actually whether it's the Lifeguards or the Blues and Royals that will take the first lifeguard of the new year. But as I won't be here anyway, it doesn't really matter, I guess. At least not for the purposes of this channel. Horsey's found an admirer already with a red beret. A red raspberry beret. Raspberry, it's not really a raspberry, guys, it's a different colour. The horse is apparently Key Lindor. Very beautiful. I was kind of expecting a bit of a fashion show today. We might get one. It's very hard to know, folks. We've got no guaranteed flood of people from the palace, as there's no guard change. So what we have today is pretty much what we're given, in the sense of people just strolling around London, randomly deciding to stop here or accidentally discovering horse guards, is what we can pretty much assume we're going to get for the majority of the morning at least. They're all being very patient though, aren't they, and polite. It's always with one another, in fact, as well as with the guard. A little bit on the fence actually about whether or not this end or the other end is the better option for the changeover. Instinctively, I don't know why, I think this end. Didn't actually have a good look at the other horse, folks, which is a pity. A lot of you will know which one this is. I'm not going to risk taking out the phone this morning because there are way too many people here. And as it's a quiet morning with not a lot of traffic, anyone picking pockets could very, 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 very quickly vanish into the crowd. Let's have a quick look at this end so we've at least got an idea of which horse it is. And then we'll go back for the changeover as mentioned. The yard is going to be absolutely chock-a-block, folks. 100% chock-a-block. This horse is a little restless. Which one is it, folks? I recognise the fluffy forelock, but my goodness me, he is a mammoth-sized horse. Okay, so the yard. I'm not going to stay in the yard. I'm just going to show you quickly before the police officers tell everybody to start moving. Look at this. Flipperoo. It's absolutely chock-a-whopper. Okay, bollards time, guys. There we go. Absolutely packed. Let's get ourselves firmly out of the way. There we are, behind the bollards. I did mention that, didn't I, staying at the other end, and I'll try and do that. Golly gosh. Yeah, there's a bit of space here, which is actually pretty good. Bomb. Guys, you need to come behind. Excuse me, guys. Tori doesn't want to do it. Her partner's sort of trying to encourage her to go over toward the box. Good numbers here overall. Yeah, they're not really paying attention to the bollard's command. I'm guessing as well, we hit here, I can't see whether we hit here roughly at the time the gatesman was supposed to leave his post or pretty much spot on the time. In other words, I don't know if the gatesman will be leaving his or her post. Yeah, the tourists really don't want to wait this morning, do they? Officers are keeping the centre area clean. We should have asked the officer in Trafalgar actually whether or not the horses ever drink from the fountains. Okay, so 4 officers out in total today. Here come the new beauties. Not including Mr. Mond, obviously. I know, folks, we live in hope of one final appearance. I'm optimistic that it will happen, but there's no guarantee. It's amazing actually how many people are still popping forward to take a picture, cheekily. Every time I go to move the camera, there's another one. Or 2. There's still another one waiting. 1 second, she's going to come over. Relentless. Seems really chill. I'm guessing after an effective day off yesterday, with almost nobody bothering him, it's hardly surprising. Oh, we definitely chose the right end, folks. Now, interestingly, yes, it's happened a few times. It hasn't happened many times, but we've got the sisters in the 2 boxes at once. Yeesh. I mean, that kind of makes things complicated because it's a little bit like, well, where do we film? Now, before it goes completely bonkers, as it will do shortly when everybody comes from the yard, let me see if I can quickly get you an idea on this horse. I should know it, guys, but you know what? Better to be sure. If he wants to keep still, big if. Second. Got the number. Oh my gosh, here comes the crush. Get ready for it. No idea what somebody's shouting about. This will be the only horse I'm going to ID straight away because the numbers here, folks, it's just not worth risking having the phone out. Indiana. I was thinking we know the horse, but Indiana hasn't been here for, I remember, quite some time. So Indiana, and quite honestly, I mean, how many people are here, guys, right now? 500 plus? Okay, let's focus on what's happening in front with the tourists and the horse. This reminds me, I've got massive kind of first day reopening vibes after horseguards were shut for renovations last Christmas. I don't remember which day it was it ended up reopening, but it was just like this, completely and utterly chocker, with droids just standing near the gate, meaning that it's almost impossible for people to get out. However, the key difference between then and now is obviously the box, the signage, and more importantly, the attitude of the majority of tourists to tourists that break the rules. There we go. Didn't take long, did it? You got the quickest picture ever of a tourist at horseguards in 2024. In fact, he didn't even get a picture. The picture was of him retreating. In fact, he retreated so fast he could almost have been the. He could almost have been a Frenchman in Paris in the 1940s. Extraordinary, very fast. Didn't take long, did it? So that's 2 already. Even the kids, they were in the box. And the box is the box, guys. It's as simple as that. So it's pretty good, actually, that within about 30 seconds, thrice peasants get out of my box. I know what you're thinking, folks. Keep these 2 troopers here all the time, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. No horse changes, no guard change, just the same 2 lady troopers. We'd never ever see any discipline issues again here. They could rotate them though, perhaps every 3 months with the King's troop. He seems rather enamoured. Excuse me, that sounded like a police officer, but there aren't any police or horses here. Police horses, that is. That sounded so like an excuse me, mind your backs please, but nope. Oh, he's back. That's the bro that just got told to get out of the box. I mean, I guess he understood the command. Notice how eagle-eyed this trooper is. Straight away she's looking down at his foot, and that's why. Look, she just moved the sword, ready to chop his head off. It's way too early for dim sum, to be quite honest. I'm trying to listen to the I think almost everybody is speaking Spanish, French or Arabic. That's what we're hearing here more than anything else this morning so far. Okay, moving back a teeny bit now, there's a bit of space. Temperature-wise, guys, it's not that bad this morning. About 6 or 7 degrees, but there's absolutely, odd as it might sound, no perceptible air movement. There's no wind, there's no breeze. It's completely, feeling with my fingers, completely static. There's no breeze whatsoever. So it's actually pleasant, I think is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, it is quite pleasant. It certainly isn't cold. It's enjoyable, I think. Almost ideal filming conditions. It would be nice if there was a little bit more light. We'll see if anyone else comes over toward Indiana. If not, we'll spend a bit of time at the other end. It's going to be a bit of a double take anyway, to be fair.
Yeah, get in. I have already done
Folks. Nope, she's backing me over. I don't know her. I've never met her before, never spoken to her. She's never messaged me on Instagram. We've never been on a date. No idea who she is.
Okay, that's fine.
Who's next? Oh. Wait, are they not twins? I'm sure they are. Or incredibly similar. Twins taking pictures with twins. All we need now is to find some twin photographers to take some pictures of the twins that are taking pictures with twins. We'll have a look in the yard in a minute as well. See a very familiar face as the Chitsman today. Anyone up next? Yes, get on the line. Okay, can actually finally walk back to beyond the bollards, which gives us a good overview of the box, folks. The edges of the box, at least. Get ready. It was a football bro and his dad. Got told. That didn't take long, did it? Now, curiously, at the other end, thus far, not one single person's been told to get out of the box. Now, I'm going to guess that's because they're all in their best behaviour. I'm not sure if we've had 4 or 5 here, but we've had more already than we sometimes have in a 1 hour long video. So I'm genuinely and pleasantly surprised. As are a lot of the tourists, to be fair. Oh. Actually, we need to get a picture of Indiana as well, don't we, guys, for our first post-Christmas picture of the day. Okay, let me do that in a second. One moment. Waiting for the tourists at my right to move, and then I'll try and grab our snap. We can put Indiana to be looking at the camera. That's our moment. 1 second, let's get forward. If I say the magic word Indiana, will the horse look at the camera? Let's try and focus on what's happening as I try and get my picture. Got it. It's quite a good one, actually. I wouldn't say it's perfect because the light's not great today, but it's good enough. Right, get ready for it.
Better have his lead.
Oh. Somebody's saying it's leany, something like that, along those lines.
Hello guys.
Hey, all right.
Merry Christmas.
Say again?
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Merry Christmas. Good or bad, generally? Everything. Good or bad, generally?
Okay.
No? Not great. Yeah, I'm definitely losing count, folks, of how many. I do love the OEU to the gen who is in his 50s. OEU. Now, I got a feeling, folks, that the boss is visiting today. I'm not sure if he's a major or a colonel, but he's definitely a boss. 100%. As if anyone doubted it. That wheelie noise is tourists dragging luggage through the gate and very carefully around the box. Massive numbers all around me again. Whether they decide to come forward, time will tell. Yeah, look, looking straight down at his feet. Bro, don't do it. Or bron't do it. This guy's smile. If he smiles any more broadly, his false teeth are going to fall out. Oh. Yes, they did it on the night of Christmas Eve. They did the horse down. Sawdust on the base. So, hanging like a hay bale. Hay where they feed the horse.
Oh, I see.
questions, if it's a straw bale, forgive me. I'm reasonably sure that horses sleep on straw and eat hay. I just know you're going to tell me it's the other way around. Instinctively, they eat hay, do they not? Oh, he had a lucky escape. Everyone's going in the box now. She's letting them pass, but look, snaking through the box. I have no idea who Eugenia is that he's going on about. Awkward, like strangers right behind you in your picture. She's got random people's heads behind her. Oh, there's another one out of the box. I've lost count now, folks. We can't be far off 10, which in 20 minutes is not bad, is it? They're really being careful with the box now. And to be fair, they should be careful of the box. Right, there finally is a bell. Does that mean we're going to get a gatesman coming? Let's see. If we do, I'll move. But I'm going to move anyway, folks, in a minute. Seeing a few people sort of glancing. Let's move now. 1 minute. Glancing at the middle. Trying to move very carefully. Yep, here comes our gatesman, who a lot of you will remember from when he was in his MTP camos. Has got a very authoritative voice and is a very professional fellow. I don't actually remember seeing him as the gatesman. It's the South African trooper. Very distinctive voice, very commanding presence, naturally authoritative presence. Yeah, he's a tall lad, but an absolute professional. Fantastic thing to see. Actually, guys, before we have a look at the other horse, let's have a quick wander into the yard. I'm not really intending, unless something goes very wrong, and hopefully it won't, on spending much time in the yard today. Our chitsman over here, looking fantastic. Wow, we timed that right, didn't we? And he's off. And on the other side, if we can get beyond the bicycles, which have pretty much jammed up the yard, somebody's decided to drop their hat on the floor, which is a little curious considering the colours. Kind of like, how would you miss it? Yeah, so that's our yard. I personally am genuinely surprised that many bikes are allowed into the yard. Without stating the obvious, it's pretty clear that they could be potentially a security problem. Right, to the other end. We know absolutely, unequivocally, undoubtedly, that from what we've just seen, the Lady Trooper is massively on it. Now, what about this end, folks? Let's spend a little teeny bit of time here and see what we get. Banana man. We've definitely seen this lady with the pink top before. Remember her? She's very familiar. Can't think why. Whether she was maybe in a video, famous video. Definitely seen her before. Now the interesting thing is going to be obviously to see if we get the same response at this end if people enter the box. I mean, one would surmise that the approach would be identical, but you never know. I think this is only the second, possibly third ever video in all of this time when when we got the two lady troopers on duty in the boxes at the same time. Wow, loving the colour of that girl's coat. It's a colour explosion. It's like giving your kids a set of crayons on Christmas Day and seeing what they can produce by Boxing Day. Designed for a new coloured coat, no guess. Oh, he's in the box. Oh, and he's now out of the box. He corrected himself. Look at that. Lucky, actually. Oh. It's a little kid that can't understand what she's being told. There's another one. So, I mean, they're equally on it, aren't they? There's no doubt about that. They're 100% equally on it. Without a doubt. The little lady over there, underneath the sign, I'm not sure, I'm not convinced that she was aware of what she was being told in terms of getting out of the box. Oh, he's scared of the horse, so he's off. And again. Yet more. So it's exactly the same at this end as it was at the other end, pretty much, isn't it? Exactly the same thing. And this, folks, is why these two troopers in particular are so popular. What I mean by that? Well, the C word, folks. No, not Christmas. Consistency. Every single person that gets close, boom. Again and again and again. Gloriously consistent. Let's move ourselves around a teeny bit, guys. So that there's so much luggage, so many people with so much luggage here today. It's actually blocking the public highway, but my goodness me, it certainly is creating a bit of a jam. Boom, there we are. At least now we kind of cleanly and clearly got the sign, and we'll do our best to get the line as well. I think we know, without a shadow of a doubt, that rules are being upheld at the other end. From what we've seen, it looks the same at this end, thus far. But in total, between the... another one. She's not understanding at all, this girl. That was a tuk-tuk, folks, behind us. We're definitely over 10 now, so I think this video is going to be 10 times we were told to get out of the box. I mean, it might have been more, I've lost count. I'm sure one of them, again, it's the same girl yet again. Utterly extraordinary, to be honest. Even the police are a bit like, how does she not understand it? She's still looking, like talking with her mum, and they don't understand why they've been shouted at twice. Which I find curious, because it can't be that complicated, regardless of the need to verbalise it. You know, other people are pointing to the floor, and it's like the line. Look. Look. Her mum's pointing at the line, like it's the line, but she just doesn't quite get it. Very confusing. Okay, anyway, so they've decided to leave as opposed to continue to get shouted at. Very kindly, the officer on the left told the gent in the blue coat, no, you are not allowed to take my picture, but you could take a picture of the guard and the horse. Ever the gent, that officer, always is, without exception. Now it's probably a good thing actually that these two didn't go in the box, folks, because there would be no room for the horse. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Yes, it's a joke for those that are easily offended. My goodness me. There are some that are easily offended, folks, if you read some of the DMs that I get. Like, how dare you be so rude, to visitors to our country? It's like, for goodness sake, if I were that rude to visitors to our country, we wouldn't get so many visitors to our country coming to talk to me about the fact they enjoy the channel. That's the part that doesn't quite add up, If I were horrible to everybody visiting, then nobody would ever want to talk to me. So it doesn't really make sense. I think the best way to clarify is that I'm horrible to people that are intentionally stupid, idiotic and disrespectful, which is not the same thing as being horrible to people per se. Oh. I think after the verbal ear bashing the girl in white got, they don't want to risk getting too close. I can't really say that I blame them, to be fair. Okay. I'm still sort of deciding whether this end or the other end is is the best option as we head toward the end. How the hell did that happen? I guess because the walk was so long at the beginning. I might go over time, folks. Let's see what happens, because we've got a fair bit of time left with these two troopers before the changeover. Okay. I'm pretty sure these two ladies won't step over the line. Straight away she's eyeballing this guy's feet pretty much instantly. Terminator-like focus actually on people's foot movements. Really impressive. No complacency at all, ever, when these two are on duty. Ooh, he almost headbutted the camera. So many people waiting here though, actually, folks. I'm going to be surprised if there's any let up in the stream of people. Get ready for it. Yikes. I really didn't want him to walk into the box. That would have been super awkward with his kid on his shoulders. Every time I used to do that with mine on the street, folks, I would always worry that if I tripped or whatever, I'm laughing about it, but it's true. I would always worry every time if I tripped or something that I wouldn't be able to stop myself falling with one of my kids on my shoulders. I was always super nervous actually on the street, especially in busy areas when they were like, "Hey, can we sit on your shoulders?" I think they got picture of the day. Definitely the best smiles of the day. That is a perfect picture. That couple, good-looking couple, got a perfect picture, I would say. That's the sort of picture that HCAV should put on their website and say, visitors, when you come to Horse Guards, this is how to pose, be happy, get a perfect picture, and not offend the guard. I'm laughing because you can see how hard it is on occasion for people to force the right smile. Annoyingly fat, guys, because I'm trapped in this massive crowd. There are a couple of people, like right, I'm not sure if you can see them, right in the Chitsman's face. Flipping, oh, this guy's going to hit his head on the top of the box. Just while he's far back, folks, he scared the life out of the horse. Folks, I wasn't going to say it then because I was a bit scared, but that guy in the red jacket, that's Alfredo. Yeah, Alfredo used to dispose of everybody that crossed Pablo Escobar. Or Pablito, as his friends would affectionately call him. Now it's pretty much relentless. Oh, I think it's the first V we've had this morning. I think instinctively we'll finish up at the other end. It's a good time to move actually because that's the bell for the gatesman. Who is almost certainly about to leave his post. Now, whether or not I can... Actually, wait, let's walk out wide, otherwise we're never going to get in. Yeah, here he comes. Out into the yard. They're surely not just going to stand there. I thought they actually were just going to stand there, in fact, and not bother to move as he approached. I myself going to get back right behind the bollards, so there is zero chance of me getting anywhere that might cause an obstruction. I love the slow walk, eh? I mean, I personally love the slow walk. I think it's fantastic. Okay, so back over to the other end where we were before, and where we will slowly and gradually finish up, folks, with Indiana. Just because, and again, don't take offense, guys, Indiana is a real beauty. Excuse me. Oh, it's a bit of a squish here today. Wow, there we go. Okay, so we're back in. We're now finishing up position. We definitely caught the peak of the flow. There might well be a lot of people here for the 4 o'clock, but the inspections this time of the year are effectively held in the dark. Oh, kid with parents. Oops. Again, out of the box. Yeah, we're way over 10, aren't we? Oh, dirty look from the dad. Don't you dare talk to her like that. Okay, so this is definitely my outfit of the day, including her washing up gloves, folks. Yeah, she's back. Run away back to the kitchen to finish up those dishes with the washing up gloves. Oh, somebody just fell in love with Indiana. She's completely frozen behind him. Wait, she actually has frozen. What's going on here? Ouch. Oh wow. Okay, that's brutally consistent. Gotta love it, folks. Gotta admire it. Come on, regardless. That might actually have been our shot of the day. I have to look at that and compare it to the opener in Trafalgar Square. Anyway, little man's back with mum. These might well be our last few, folks. We'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, there are only so many times you want to hear get out of the box, or move back, or get behind the line, or step back, stand back, or any variable thereof. Oh. And again, goodness gracious me. Just when we thought there couldn't be any more in a single morning, this has got to be some kind of a record. Quite extraordinary, to be quite honest with you. Yep, I don't know what she's doing either. This lady's just looking at whether she can quickly grab any of the manure for her bonsai tree. The council had a camera mounted in this position permanently, with all proceeds to HCAV. The troopers were all retired millionaires. These will be our last few, ladies and gents, coming up toward the box. Oh, she asked, can she pat or touch the horse? No. Was the response? That was because her mum, who was standing right next to me, who I think was speaking Italian, told her to get closer. You heard it, I'm sure you heard it, folks. Now, I don't know if she was saying that intentionally to get a response to get out of the box, but she was busy taking shutter photography on her phone very quickly as her daughter tries to move. Interesting, no? Very. These are our last few lucky punters, guys, at this end. We bagged something of a smacker today, didn't we? Good lord. I honestly think this might be a new record in terms of how many people in a single video were told to move. I can't be certain, but it wouldn't surprise me if it were a new record. So massive respect to the two troopers that are on this morning. There's doing your job, and then there's absolutely excelling at your job. And I think we all know which category the two troopers here fall into. Our last little tourist. And it's a wrap, folks. I'll be back real soon. I will try to be here as much as I can between now and when I leave for my holiday for New Year. So back soon, people. Bye for now.